And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gem in the Crypto, episode 641. Today is Friday, January 15th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And today's top stories: Bitcoin payments are the second stupidest idea I've heard, says late show Stephen Colbert. FinCEN extends comment period for controversial crypto wallet rule. Crypto anti-terrorism bill introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives. Ledger owners report chilling threats after 20K more records leak. And last but not least, U.S. Fed CBDC a very high priority to combat bad private sector money. Yeah, you already knew that was coming, right? But first and foremost, let's go ahead and check out these prices today. Pull up this price chart here from CoinDesk, as always. Bitcoin is coming in. It's crazy. Big pump fake. I know a lot of people were excited yesterday. We thought we were all the way out of the woods. Not yet. We are still moving sideways. Bitcoin is coming in at $36,000, $417.20, down 7.90%. Ethereum's coming in at $1,176, down 2.65%. Stellar at 28 cents, down 5.8%. XRP at 27%, down 6.83%. Chainlink at 1944, actually up 18%, 18.95%. So big win on that. Cardano at 30 cents, down 4.11. You got Litecoin here at $143.93, down 6%, and Bcash as well is down about 6.34% to $487. So it looks like for the most part, everyone yesterday took almost a 10% haircut. Again, this is crypto. It isn't new. Literally, if you just started watching us in the past week, you know this isn't new. We've been telling you, per the percentage swings that will occur daily, when you're talking about sideways movement, whether it's going up or down 5, 10, 15 to 20%, these are expected moves. And again, that percentage swing, when you're looking at a $40,000 Bitcoin price, again, 5% turns into a lot more money than what it would if it was $10,000 or less. So again, expect to see these wild price swings continue here on out for the rest of Bitcoin, because as the price increases, one day when you see that $60,000, that $80,000, that $100,000 plus Bitcoin, remember, at $100,000, a 10% price swing is $10,000. So once it hits 100K and above, daily candles will start to go 12,000 up, 14,000 down, 15,000 up, 17,000 down. This will be normal. So start to familiarize yourself with this type of trading thought pattern, psychological thought pattern. What's going on, Tiffany from New York? Rashu, Paul, Marcellus Love, Crypto Q, Erica K, Lisa Lee. Paul said people still watch Colbert. Listen, you know we are about to fire these shots in a second. What's up, Tommy Brown? Zuri 2011, D Chiron, Sergeant Crypto, Bruce Biggs, what's popping? There we go. Got everybody coming here. All right, top story of the day. Bitcoin payments are the second stupidest idea I've heard, said late show Stephen Colbert. That is right, people. Shots have been fired, and the media party lines have been drawn. I'm actually surprised to see Stephen Colbert say this, because he's low-key been, like, I thought, almost an ally of Bitcoin. So it was interesting to see Stephen Colbert say it. But what I will say is that any attention is good attention for Bitcoin, right? We all know when comedians talk about people or things, it's almost like a nod to them, right? Like, if you are talked about by a comedian, it's supposed to be a good thing, right? It's a great thing if they all decide to actually roast you. So I'm taking this in the same vein that Bitcoin is doing so well. The Bitcoin stimulus package, we know the Bitcoin, the blockchain stimulus package is real. So this is just another example of a show or of a person using it. So again, this is Stephen Colbert, the charismatic host of CBS The Late Show. Had a segment dubbed Quarantine Wow. Again, like we said, that show is still on. You can tell how hilarious it is. Quarantine Wow, right? Which features a roundup of amusing news stories for viewers to watch while stuck inside. Colbert referenced a recent report from Vice in which hackers took control of internet-connected chastity cages, devices worn by men to prevent from engaging in any sort of sexual activity. This is the weird stuff you hear about in SoCal. And demanded Bitcoin to unlock them. Getting paid in Bitcoin, that's the second stupidest idea I've heard, said Colbert with a chuckle, implying the first would be, of course, hooking yourself up to those dome cages, as they called it. Now, again, we can just watch the clip real quick, kind of get an idea and see what Stephen Colbert said about Bitcoin.
People's internet-connected chastity cages demanded a ransom to be paid in Bitcoin to unlock it. Getting paid in Bitcoin? That's the second stupidest idea I've heard. Now, just so we're clear, chastity.
You even see how they pause after it? You see how they actually pause? Getting paid in Bitcoin? That's the second stupidest idea I've heard. Of course, the stupid and the Bitcoin being the buttons of the sentence. If you know anything about voiceover and commercial work, it's the reason why he paused at it. Again, it's pretty funny to see Bitcoin highlighted. And I appreciate Bitcoin being highlighted. It doesn't have a boss, right? It's an easy target. I think we're going to see this here on out. As the price of Bitcoin continues, expect to see the jokes coming in. It's almost going to be the joke when comedians walk on stage and be like, oh, sure there's some pretty girls in here, huh? Everybody clap your hands if there's some pretty girls in here, right? That is going to be the same joke when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. Comedians are going to come on stage and Bitcoin will be the punchline because there is seemingly no one there to defend it. But of course, you have the gentleman in crypto here to throw some shots right back at Stephen Colbert. He's actually one of my favorite out there of the late night talk show hosts. So it's all in good jest and good fun. Again, I think this is actually a win for Bitcoin. Stephen Colbert had the super PAC at one point. He has a lot of people that follow him, a lot of people with money that follow him. So again, even if he mentions it in jest, it still lets people know this thing is real and exists and they look into it. But let's talk about the facts of this. Colbert, this isn't the first time. It's actually like the third time I believe that he's mentioned Bitcoin. In 2017, he had mentioned it on his show again. And they also talk about him mentioning it back in April of 2013 when the price of Bitcoin is fluctuating between $50 and $300. At the time, the then Colbert Report host seemingly agreed with Wall Street analyst Nick Cole's assessment of the cryptocurrency, calling it gold for nerds, right? However, at that time, or since that time, of course, Bitcoin has went from $50 to $300 to, of course, $40,000 now. And that was 8 years ago. So some type of meteoric rise. I'm not about to do the percentage here. I thought it was in an article. I can't see it. But since he first mentioned it on his show in 2013, when it was $50 to $300 8 years ago, the price has now went up to $40,000. So again, jokes or not, it's crazy to even see a talk show host joke about without actually mentioning, hey guys, you remember the first time I made the joke about this? It was $50. Now it's at $40,000. It isn't a stupid thing to buy. So I get it. I get the fun of it, talking about it. But this is still a FUD story. This is still scaring people away, Stephen Colbert. So, of course, we still have to cover these stories to let everyone out there, the retail investors, the mom and pops, know that Stephen Colbert is just using this as a punchline, right? He's using it as a joke. He's using it to draw attention to his TV show. It's unfortunate people like him have to do it in the bad way where it's like, hey, this thing doesn't work. When in reality, we all know it actually does work. But Stephen Colbert, he has drawn his lines in the sand, crypto warriors. So feel free to troll this. I have to actually put them in the same category as we have others. Get ready to troll this dinosaur, matter of fact. Let's just go ahead and elevate Stephen Colbert to an official dinosaur of the day. It's official here, people. Jim in the crypto. There it is. Oh, there it is. We don't respect or know what you are talking about when it comes to crypto here, Stephen Colbert. All right. Real news now, right? FinCEN is back out there. FinCEN extends comment period for controversial crypto wallet rule. So this is something we talked about recently when, of course, the FinCEN is trying to push mandatory crypto wallets on people. They're supposed to have this whole time period where people can actually make comments and make changes, the whole democratic way of doing business. And the FinCEN decided not to. They said, no, we're actually just going to expedite this. We're going to tell you all as you go into your Christmas holiday that you have a week to get these comments in, and then we're going to expedite and make a decision without Americans having any say so. Well, it looks like they decided to actually extend that comment period because what they were doing was essentially illegal, right? Critics of the rule said it would be technically impossible for some projects to comply because smart contracts and author decentralized tools do not have the name or address information to provide. This is the other thing which we talked about when it comes to regulating different crypto projects and why even regulating or trying to regulate in general will really just stifle innovation because you cannot regulate it. It was meant to be unregulatable, if that's even a word. FinCEN, like FINRA, like the SEC and IRS, they are not understanding it. And this guy is the picture perfect example of the people coming after your money, right? Which is crazy. It's crazy, United States. That just show you how gang the United States is. We literally have arms of our government that we pay with our own tax money, whose only job it is to take more of our own money or to regulate and give us rules, right? This is the hall monitor that is giving us rules when it comes to cryptocurrency right now. Again, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, said Thursday it would reopen its proposed rulemaking period for an additional 15 days for its reporting requirements and another 45 days for a requirement on record keeping and counterparty reporting requirements. Now, again, this whole thing is about control. They want you to have a controlled wallet that the government knows about. They want you to use a controlled CBDC. CBDC, which we'll be talking about later in the show, is all about control. But the issue comes up, as critics brought up already, is that it's impossible for some projects to comply because smart contracts and author decentralized tools do not have the name or address information to provide. That's right. Some of these projects are built up so that you are remaining anonymous. So things are just so transparent that neither party has to do anything other than the inner numerical information, right? On a smart contract. If this happens, then this happens, right? If and then's easy way to compute this stuff. And on all those contracts, you don't need to have addresses. You don't need to have social security numbers. You don't need to have anything to make those contracts go through for people to get paid. So as that advances, as that technology gets better and better, you will need less and less third-party human interaction or intervention. So again, when it comes to Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, who is said to be spearheading this effort, the gentleman in the photo you just saw, who will also be out of office by the time the comment period closes, he just doesn't know what he's talking about. And another reason why I think he's pushing this so hard is so that he can actually get it through. As it said, he will actually be out of the office by the time the comment period closes. I think he's pushing this through because once it gets through again, that gives him a way to go into the private sector as a consultant and say, hey, I helped create this rule. I know everything you need to do to get past this rule and to be successful with your company. That is what they do. So again, I'm not sure where this is going to go. Again, it's not even going to work. You're talking about having wallets reported and all types of stuff. Like right now, as I'm talking, I can go on a website and create like 3 or 4 different crypto wallets as I'm talking and delete them all or burn them all within the same conversation. So I'm not sure what the FinCEN is trying to do here. I'm not sure if they even have it together or if this is just what it could possibly be too. It's just another play at creating a task force and getting paid government taxpayer funds by saying they're doing something to protect taxpayers and give back and all that good stuff. When in reality, we know that is not the truth. But it remains to be seen, right? We shall see. What's going on, Lisa Lee? Laughing as I said hall monitor. Those guys, I mean, they look at him. He is the hall monitor. Like, I still don't get this. I mean, call me crazy, but I just don't understand when and where I signed over my life or adult and human rights over to a guy who looks like this to tell me what I want to do with my money and how I want to do it or what I want to do with crypto wallets, right? When I started in crypto, he wasn't saying anything about a crypto wallet. Now crypto's $40,000. You tell me I need to have a government-sponsored crypto wallet. It's like, that is not how life works. That's how gangs work. That's not how life works. So I just want to know here, what are we doing here in the United States? Are we, is this democracy or is this gang? I can survive in any land. I just rather know which is which. All right. Speaking of gang, here to protect the people again. Crypto anti-terrorism bill introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives. People, we have said this is coming. This will be one of the Black Swan events. Seriously, I think. What's going to happen is, since the United States won't be able to control or slow down Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it will happen where, and it might happen in 2021. We might still have another year or two, but it's going to happen where a terrorist attack's going to happen and Bitcoin or some type of cryptocurrency will be the blame. And when I say will be the blame, it's going to be like Stephen Colbert saying Bitcoin is the stupidest, second stupidest idea out there, next to a dung catcher or something being the first, right? It's going to be on that level. They're going to be like, oh, this would have never happened if these terrorists weren't allowed to send each other Bitcoin or weren't allowed to send each other Monero or whatever. We have to shut this down. We have to make this illegal. This is why it's important for every a good American out there to have a registered wallet. People, I'm telling you, I can create a narrative right now. I think that's going to be the future. I think a terrorist attack is going to happen. I want to go on record saying it right here, January 15, 2021. I forgot I need to start saying the year as well because these shows have been running. I think the United States will blame a terrorist attack on Bitcoin. They would say Bitcoin financed it, cryptocurrency did it, and it's all you criminals fault out there who use it and not the good old American dollar. But it looks like a bipartisan group of representatives has introduced a bill to the House that seeks to create a task force focusing on combating terrorist financing via cryptocurrencies. Now, Bitcoins, they brought this up the other day, but it still remains a fact that the amount of illicit and criminal activity in the cryptocurrency community still accounts for less than 2%. Criminals use cash, people. Still to this day, criminals use cash. You're not going up to a drug deal, a terrorist deal. I mean, not that I would know. I don't know like terrorists or all these people on my phone, but I'm assuming you're not going up to a drug deal or a deal with some terrorists, about to buy a bunch of bombs, and you like, oh, hold on, let me pull out my phone and transfer you some money. Like, what? One thing I do know about criminals, they don't like technology in your hands when you got the money going, right? They want cold, hard, untraceable cash. Yes, are there some sophisticated organizations, criminal organizations using cryptocurrency? Of course. And those same sophisticated organizations, if cryptocurrency did not exist, would just use cash. So I'm against creating all these little Fugazi task force out there, which the American taxpayers will be paying for. I'm against it. And I don't think it's needed because it can't really do anything, especially at this point. They don't have the government doesn't even have the financial tools to really go inside of different blockchains and cryptocurrencies and track and do everything we need to do to actually catch the criminal the way they see it, right? They can do good old-fashioned police work, and we've seen it continuously work to catch criminals. No one has gotten away. If the guy from BTCE who allegedly laundered billions of dollars in cryptocurrency didn't get away, then no one else is getting away, right? But again, this story, United States Representative Ted Budd from North Carolina has sponsored a new piece of legislation aimed at creating an agency tasked with combating the use of cryptocurrencies and terrorist financing. The bill, HR 296, is co-sponsored by Representatives Warren Davidson from Ohio, Stephen Lynch, Massachusetts, Byron Donalds from Florida, and Darren Soto from Florida. It was introduced on Wednesday. Apart from creating a task force, the bill also seeks to, quote, provide rewards for information leading to convictions related to terrorist use of digital currencies, to establish a fintech leadership and innovation and financial intelligence program to encourage the development of tools and programs to combat terrorists and illicit use of digital currencies and for other purposes. Word soup for a reason, people. It's word soup for a reason. Whenever they're trying to confuse it, we're doing this for that and for you. Again, I would rather them just come out and say, look, we have police protection who have military protection, and we want more money. So we're going to create a Fugazi task force that we're going to do a bunch of nothing and chase imaginary dragons, and you American people are going to pay us. And if you don't pay us, we coming in to kick in some doors. I'd rather them just tell me that so I can be like, cool, I understand it. I understand how this works. Here go the money. Thanks for watching over me, right? Don't tell me you're looking the first, because in the same sentence you're saying we're gonna give you reward money if you can find terrorists. For one, why? Yeah, if you see something, say something. But our civilians aren't terrorist hunters, right? We're not bounty hunters. I don't want to encourage civilians to go out there looking for terrorists, Because from what I hear, terrorists are another step above regular criminals, and I hear some of them cut your head off. So I don't want people going to go look for people to go get their head cut off by, right? But regardless, you're telling people to go on this bounty hunt for terrorists. In the same sentence, you're also saying we're going to establish a fintech leadership and financial intelligence program to develop these tools and programs to combat this. Like, it's two different things going on in the same sentence, man. You got physical stuff going on, physical rewards going on, and then the actual leadership and intelligence panel, which should be from a group of people who know about cryptocurrency, as well as national security, I would assume, which I will also assume will be a very small group of people. So again, word soup. The big take of this is a task force is going to be created. Money's going to be given to this task force if it goes through, and it's going to be used for cryptocurrency and terrorism, something that does not even exist yet. Again, you can see here back in May 2020, blockchain intelligence outfit Chainalysis debunked claims that ISIS owned about 300 million in Bitcoin. Again, these are the FUD articles they keep trying to push out so they can have us all say we need to give you our taxpayer money for this crypto terrorist that's happening that we don't know anything about. So again, this is a big thing. Doesn't surprise me. This is the future. It's not going to just be this small group of representatives. This is the future, and this is the future person or thing, Bitcoin, we can blame things on. Expect to see a lot more bills going down the pike, different task forces needed, and of course, different taxpayer money needed for them all to protect us. Expect to see more of it, people. It is not going anywhere. Erica K said, word soup is the same as bullshit. You already know it. Fumble the Face said, the FUD machine is activated while the whales accumulate. Birdtown Music Group said multi-pronged snitching, hilarious. Erica K said, but civilians keep the 1% rich by stealing what we work for. That's what I'm talking about. Here's the deal. Don't offer me a reward when your friends list, on your contact list is Warren Buffett, you got Bill Gates, you got all these anti-crypto people, right? Multi-billionaires. With all of those resources, you can't find these bad guys? Like, if you can't find a bad guy with some billionaires on your friend list, then yeah, what you need me for, man? All right, like, I can't do nothing more than what they can. It's crazy. Let's see. Crypto Q said Patriot Act 101. I know, right? Rights to Ride says all those guys just want Bitcoin at a lower price. Basically, we all know this. Christian Ferrero, I might be saying that wrong. Pardon me. I've had my Bitcoin since 2016 for a video game to buy skins, and I'm not sure if I should sell it to Dogecoin to make more profit. What do you think? Well, if you had it since 2016, that means you had it at less than $1,000. So no matter what the price is, you got at least a couple hundred sitting in there. And if that's the case, and you plan to continue to keep it in there, yes, definitely don't buy skins with it. That would be the most, I can imagine that. It was like if you use what's considered now to be $20,000 Bitcoin on buying a custom video game skin for your character, right? That would be crazy to look back and think about. So I wouldn't use it on skins. I would just diversify, man. Put a little bit into Dogecoin, put 20% in Dogecoin if you believe in it. You're right, when it comes to video games, I do see Dogecoin on video games all the time. So when it comes to gaming, Doge might be the future there. They might have a place there. So throw some of that money on Doge, man. And then, of course, keep the rest in the crypto. If you're not paying attention to it, keep it there. Let's see. PFC Wells said that story was such a reach. They didn't have any actual evidence. Chainalysis didn't even give any actual name for the wallets. There goes their narrative change. You're right. Listen, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. No one wants to tell the right story because no one wants you looking to crypto as a safe holder. Ryan James said Tether controversy. So, real quick, I decided not to cover that today. For those who don't know what he's talking about, may have seen it. Tether is back in the news again. This has been like a story that's been ongoing for years. It's this. They have this story about Tether the same amount of times they have the story about China making Bitcoin illegal. The second story is always, does Tether or is Tether backed 1-to-1 by United States dollar? Is the actual money there? Now, Tether has argued in the court many times throughout the years saying, we have the money, don't you worry about it. Don't worry about audits, or if they do an audit, they try to do an internal one. I don't know. I don't even keep up anymore. Long story short, my experience with Tether when I tried to sign up for it in 2016, 2017 or whatever, signed up with all my personal information, social security and all of that, and it never actually processed. Instead, every time I logged on, all my information was just right there for any hacker to see. And eventually, like 6 to 8 months later, they eventually pushed me through. But I already had that bad taste in my mouth where I was like, all right, something fishy is going on with Tether, right? Of course, all that talk came out. I saw the talk again today where people are saying Tether is still not being backed one-to-one by the United States dollar. My thing behind it, because Tether does have the same type of army as the Ripple army, and not that I really care about pissing them off, but my thing behind it is that, again, when it comes to cryptocurrency and different projects, and now at this point, different stable coins, is it worth banking on that one project? Is it worth keeping your money in that one project if that's the news, right? Diversify, pull out, put it back in. But from my point of view, I don't use Tether. I'm not a fan of it after that experience where I literally just had my social security number sitting out for everyone to see for like 6 months. And then after all the whispers throughout the years of them not being backed $1 to their reserves as well, just made me stay away from it. Do I know if that's the truth or not? No. But again, there's so many other projects. I am not sure why you would still gamble throwing your money back into Tether, especially right now. I get it. People aren't trying to go back into cash as the price of Bitcoin. You know, this is a good trading period. It's a good trading time. You might want to look at different coins you can put your money into during these periods of, you know, you get your 20, 30% pump. You know, the next day or two, we're probably going to face a nice little 15 to 18% dip. You're looking to move your money. I will look at a different coin itself, a different project, a different crypto coin, rather than possibly Tether or a different stable coin, if that's the reason, which I'm assuming you're looking to actually use it. Let's see. Ryan James said the Monero Mafia. Bruce Biggs said criminals use cash every day, B. You already know it, man. It's what it is. Easy 001 said Mushkin stacking on the low. You listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Mushkin got more Bitcoin than all of us, all right? What's going on, Minho? Thank you for making the stream. Thank you for making the stream. And shout out as well to Minho for the shirts and everything. People, in the shirts or in the description, if you all want Bitcoin gear, shirts, mugs, hats, it is in the description of all our videos as well. All right. Exactly. P-Man Van said, why not just use USD? I am getting to that story where I'm going to talk about it. But yes, that is always my question whenever the government wants to create something new, right? Another report that's been scaring people, not just Tether. Ledger owners report chilling threats after 20,000 more records leak. This is a story now. Are you able to imagine all the possible consequences that can occur to you and your loved ones, said the scammer? It is getting personal right now. This Cointelegraph artwork correctly illustrates it, that dark web feel, right? But it looks like Ledger users are receiving threatening emails in the wake of the hardware wallet manufacturer reporting that 20,000 more of its customers have been affected by another massive data breach. This is crazy. And what's even crazier, we just said yesterday when we were talking about wallets, Ledger was one of the wallets. So clearly, if you're watching this, now is the time to stay away from Ledger until they figure this out, right? One or more extortionists using the names Darren Burlew and Denny Hornig have reportedly sent emails to users who say their personal information was released as a result of the data breach at Ledger in June, July last year. It said that you can see here different people are receiving different messages, with one person receiving a message including their email of their name, or they received an email, their name, their home address, and a phone number and demanded 0.3 Bitcoin. Oh, you know the prices of Bitcoin is up when they only demanded 0.3. I remember the good old days. They wanted a whole 1 or 2 Bitcoin, people. Or 10 either, worth roughly $12,000. Or he faced physical violence. And again, you can also see more different ones. People are saying scammers are sending emails by the hundreds. And as this one person said, don't be fooled, people. No one will come to your home to kill you. But this feeling of insecurity is a scandal, and Ledger has to do something about it. Now, coming from, again, this is why you can come to the gym in the crypto, people. Not only are we doing this live, we can tell you for real what we know off the top of our head or what we don't know, but we also have been through the fire. We've been through it. So when it comes to hacks, I think Bitcoin's actually kind of, he wrote about it a little bit in the first book. we've been through a hack, people. We understand. We experienced it. I understand how pissed off you are. I was ready. Listen, I was about to catch tickets all over the world. All right, for my issue, I'm all about it. But my point is, I do remember. I actually talked to the scammer. Who knows what country this person was in and any of that. But I remember that conversation. I remember how it made me feel. I remember how angry it had me. But I also remember some of the tactics they were using. They was like, yo, we got your address. Like, we'll pull up. Fortunately, they got the right person. So I'm like, hell yeah, pull up so we can get this issue about my money. But but seriously, they will say all these things. The deal is a lot of these scammers aren't even in the United States if you're being scammed in the United States. Or if you're not in the United States, a lot of those scammers aren't even in your country. Maybe they're in the United States. But people are using VPNs. You don't know where these people are at. But by and large, these people are nowhere near where they can physically hurt you. So I am with that Twitter user that if these scammers are coming after you, like, hey, if you don't give us this money, then X, Y, and Z happens. Yeah, if it goes to a physical threat, then make sure you contact your local authorities and do what you need to do to be safe. But by and large, they're not going to run down on you. They will use pressuring emails, text messages, phone calls. And I'm saying this for anybody who have a ledger who might be going through this. They will pressure you almost like a debt collector, right? They're going to be hitting you up all day, every day, texting you, messing with your stuff. And if they have access to some of your information, then yeah, I mean, essentially everything's gone, though. Essentially everything's gone. There's nothing you can do. You can't pay these guys back. They're going to be criminals. You're not going to give them $12,000 and they be like, all right, here go the rest of your money. They're going to be like, no. They're going to keep asking for more. It's just the way it goes. It is gone. That money you have in your ledger, I hate to say it, if they have access to it, it's gone. If they don't have access to it and they just have your information, just change your information. You might need to change your phone number, or if you need to call your phone company and let them know, don't allow any changes to your account unless you physically come in with your ID. That way they can't port your phone and hack you that way. Make sure you change your email password. You basically just need to go down and change it anyway. And rather not, matter of fact, if you were affected by Ledger or not, if you've been in the crypto space for over a year, it's good to practice changing everything up after 6 months to a year anyway, just for some good security practices so you don't get hacked. You have to remember, people, when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you are your own bank. So it is important that you protect your bank just like a regular bank would protect theirs. So, but the bottom line of this story is, if you're being threatened by a hacker, again, they're not about to come see you about it. The way most hackers work, especially in the cryptocurrency space, is that they just cast a wide net. They do phishing attacks, which is why you get something like Ledger, where you can hack Ledger or whatever. You get 20,000 emails. I'm sending 20,000 people the same email. That's when I say, I know where you live. I have your phone number. Put the phone number right there. If you don't give me whatever amount of Bitcoin, then I'm coming to your house. I'm taking your kids. If you're a person who reads that email and you want the people who have kids, you can be like, oh, hell no. I'm about to send them this Bitcoin right now. I'm scared, right? But for somebody else who doesn't have kids, they're going to be like, oh, all right, I can tell this is an actual phishing attack. Like, this person don't even have my information. So, again, they cast nets far and wide. They just hope to attract some of anything. You remember, this is a hacker. This is all free. This is all free money. This is all free clients. Like, I sent out 20,000 emails that I stole. If any one person out of 20,000 sends me any Bitcoin, it's already a win. It's crazy. And then last but not least, again, I have to point out, people, when our hack happened, I can't remember. I think I actually came up off a whole Bitcoin or something. So it's crazy to see the price of Bitcoin go up to where it's 0.3 now, it's $12,000. And another thing I want to bring up too, when it comes to hacks and government protection, this is the stuff, if regulators want to come regulate and protect, this is the stuff we need protection from. But this is not what they're doing. They're making these fake task forces with taxpayer money out the blue, but they're not actually helping you find crypto. And that was my beef when the crypto taxes first came about. When I first started hearing crypto taxes in 2017 and 2018, I was like, where was the government when I was getting hacked? Because it's such a large amount of money. I did the FBI police reports and all that stuff. Never heard anything back, right? But all of a sudden, when it comes to taxes, you can get my phone number for that, though, right? So again, that's my beef when it comes to regulators and stuff. It's like, they're not actually here to protect us. They're here to make money, just like many other people. So you gotta check that out. Ryan James said, "Tell them hackers to pull up." Listen, people. If you know how much they got us for, I was like, pull up on me. Let's see. CryptoQ said exactly. That's another issue with these Ledger wallets. Never buy a used hardware wallet. People are definitely trying to get, trying to get those discounts buying old wallets, and sometimes those old wallets already have software or whatever on there that's going to be a security exploit. That's going to take all of your crypto. S1 Dubs, good point. Why would the government protect you from scams when they want in on the game themselves, albeit just using different methods? Yeah, you already know it. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Wire Sparks to H-Town. Let them come on down here. You know how it is. It's actually funny too. For those who haven't seen it, check out the Dana White press conference yesterday for the upcoming Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier UFC fight. Dana White was being interviewed and he was talking about illegal streamers, and he was going in. Like, he was smiling, but he literally said on camera, and this is what I love about Dana White. CEO, multi-millionaire, all this other stuff, and he was on camera talking about the illegal streamers, and he was like, we're going to catch some of you motherfuckers. He's like, we ain't going to catch you all, but he was like, we're going to catch you, we're going to make an example out of you, and you're going to get to crying like you always do, but we're going to catch you. And I love how enthused you were, and he was about it. People, that's going to be big business in crypto. As digital scams continue, as hacks continue, expect to see some type of digital bounty hunter service pop up when they're like, hey, at the very least, we'll be able to get you a name and address of who hacked you, right? Something will come up because we're humans, and there's business and everything. And if the business right now, people being scammed and hacked, a new business will come up where someone can save you from that happening. So that's where my money's on. All right, last but not least, U.S. Fed, CBDC, a very high priority to combat bad private sector money. This is a pretty good one here. The United States Federal Reserve needs its own digital currency to protect against a possible overnight proliferation of stablecoin technology, says Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. You talk about the pot calling the kettle black. This story, the headline, the Fed Chair Jerome Powell, this is insulting and a slap on the face to every American citizen. Like, everyone should take this as an insult and a slap on the face. You have a private company that makes our money. You have a private company says we need to make more private money to protect against other private companies making more private company, make other private companies making more private money. Excuse me, I'm getting my words confused. You get what I'm saying though. You have a private company with private money saying we need to stop other private companies from making private money, and the only way to stop that is by making more private money. Like, it's all private money. And look at them. There we go, Cointelegraph. I love the artwork. Look, they all doing their little high five, handshakes, whoever. But it looks like cryptocurrency stablecoins could become systemically important overnight, says United States Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. And that's why the Fed is determined to get its own central bank digital currency right. Again, the intranet, that is the race. They are literally in a race to spend money on the program just to stop it. They're going to spend all this money on the CBDC, on the research, tax money, blah, blah, blah. They're going to spend all this money. It's going to work for maybe a year, if that, right? Or I would say it'll be open for a year or two. And then it's going to die. It's going to die a horrible death. The people who create it will still get promoted in government, or they'll go to the private sector and do well. And we would have wasted another 2 or 3 years. I don't know how many hours, hundreds of hours of manpower, and a ton of money, because CBDCs, like the intranet, are not going to work. But CBDCs are the banking industry's answer to cryptocurrency stablecoins. While they are often hosted on the blockchain, they share little in the ways of philosophical parity with their decentralized counterparts. CBDCs will be overseen by the banks that issue them and will be regulated under the laws of their respective jurisdictions. Again, you're talking about trying to create a global money but having a regional rule around it. You don't need to create a CBDC. Just keep using the dollar and just say we're not going to use fiat. Everything's online now. Like, that is a CBDC. So again, it makes no sense at all what they're doing. But speaking in an interview with Yahoo Finance, Powell says advances in technology had enabled private entities to create their own money, and that history has shown this was something to be avoided. Again, I disagree, because historically, we have the Federal Reserve, which is private money, which we use. So that is not something to be avoided, pal. That's something we actually like. What you mean is competition to our already private money is something to be avoided. So the competition part, I get it. Again, this is Fed Chairman Powell. Technology has made this possible, and effectively, private sector actors can create the equivalent of digital money. We know in the past with private sector money, the public sometimes just thinks of it as money, like the United States dollar. We just think of it as money, but it's owned by a private company. And then at some point, they find out it's not money, like we did when Bitcoin was created in the 2008 housing crash. We was like, oh shit, the dollar's not even really backed by gold, and they can just print it. It's not money. That's a very, very bad thing we need to avoid. And again, that's why we have Bitcoin. Again, this is Powell as well. Stablecoins could be systemically important overnight, and we don't begin to have our arms around the potential risks, how to manage those risks, and the public will expect that we do. No, we don't expect that you do, and has every right to expect that. It's a very high priority. And last but not least, to add some of that U.S. American narcissism to the back of all this, since we are the world's reserve currency, we actually think we need to get this right, and we don't feel an urge or need to be first. Effectively, it means we already have a first mover advantage because we're the reserve currency. Wow. Talk about being tone deaf, right? So many things to break down. I'm not going to go into all of it, but one of the biggest ones here I want to talk about is how the United States in our the Fed chairman Jerome Powell. So the chairman of a private company who works with our government and for some reason who has access to all our taxpayer money, is essentially starting war with anyone who wants to create any other type of digital money or private sector or financial sector, right? Like, how crazy is that? Why are you getting mad at other humans and other businesses for doing businesses other ways? So what if you want to use seashells, they want to use feathers, someone want to use dollars, someone want to use Bitcoin, someone want to use cups of Starbucks. I mean, listen, I'm sure a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks can move mountains in certain parts of this world, right? Why do you care what people are using as value? Like, this is that old school thought process of we have to own everything, we have to be in charge, or there's a problem. No. So what? Let's have a million different things of money. Let's have people believe everything is money. And then whatever has actual value, the market will decide. It works that simple. We don't need the CEO of some private company who has had his money exclusively be used by the entire planet to come out and say we don't want competition. We know why you don't want competition, but by and large, there is nothing wrong or scary about a bunch of different money. Actually, it already exists. If you ever traveled internationally, guess what? Your dollar doesn't go everywhere, people. And what happens? You go to the airport, you get beat over the head for 13 to 15% of an exchange rate, or you go to that country and get beat on the head for 18% for an exchange rate, right? Regardless, we've already had different currencies around the planet. So don't tell me it doesn't work and it can't continue to work if that proliferates to stablecoins where now everything's digital and everything can also be seen on a ledger available for most people. So again, this is bullshit. I'm calling it out. And it's about time we call out the Fed anyway. They need to be audited. Like, who knows how much of money the Fed has? How you printed $1.9 trillion in 2021 and however much we printed last year, right? So I'm not with this Fed Chair Powell, private company CEO, pot calling the kettle black. He doesn't want competition because he wants to be the main person. Again, this is why things like the Libra project from Facebook face roadblocks, because you have people like him at the Federal Reserve who I'm sure gave the government a tap on their shoulder and was like, y'all gonna do something about this competition? Do I need to come in and do something, right? So again, I think we're looking at this the wrong way. It's not a problem for other people create money. That's the craziest thing. And yes, while the United States has been the world's reserve currency, maybe we need to explore what it looks like not being that, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. We still have something called bombs. Ain't nobody gonna mess with us, all right? Like, we're good to go. Don't believe the hype, people. No one's messing with the United States, whether or not we are a world reserve currency. If anything, we need to stop forcing people to take the dollar. But again, these are all just pie in the sky principles, people. We all know the truth. gang, gang. This dollar is where it's going to be at. This Fed coin or CBDC coin, wherever they create, is where it's going to be at too. Or there's going to be wars to follow. So that's why, again, it's important for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to win. When we have Max Kaiser on the show, he actually put it so eloquently. You know, the dollar is backed by war and Bitcoin is backed by peace. When you have that type of rhetoric, when you have the CEO of a private company who does have access to the military, like for a fact, like who does have access to the police and military, when you have him spilling out this rhetoric that basically says we don't want no competition. Any competition is the problem, and all you Americans need to be on board that this is a problem. When you have him spilling out that rhetoric, that goes to show that the dollar is backed by war and Bitcoin is in fact backed by peace. So yeah, that is crazy to see. Again, that's that Max Kaiser quote. For those who didn't know what we had on the show, make sure you check that out. But yeah, this is what we're looking at for the future. So I'm looking at last few comments. What's going on? SSJ Solid Snake. I wonder, is that Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid? Shout out if it is. Let's see. Jamal J said had to come off that hedge money. PFC Wells said blue dogs are here. Paul said private money versus private money. Exactly. It's billionaires versus multi-billionaires is what we're seeing right here. Let's see. Jamal J said, don't let me catch none of y'all cashing out at a CBDC ATM in 2 years. Crypto Rasputin said the Fed monopoly must be preserved at all costs. You already know it. There should be like 2 buttons since I won't let up on a CBDC. Since I won't let up on CBDCs. It's crazy, people. Again, another show we have to find. If you remember the first show we mentioned CBDCs, I was literally, as we were live streaming it, I was reading the article. It was the first time the word CBDC had ever been mentioned. And I saw it like 3 or 4 times in the article. I was like, oh, we were taught this. In PR school, we were taught this. Like whenever you boom, you see the same word in an article from the government or from a large private institution 3 or 4 times, it's with so much intent, right? They hire great writers. I used to be a speechwriter. I'm a great writer. Like if it's there 2 or 3 or 4 times, that's because they're trying to do that for a reason. And what happened like a month later, CBDC was all the news. So people, don't let them steal the narrative and don't let them pump fake you. You know the real crypto and what the real decentralized environment looks like. Again, as always, thanks for watching this week. The Gentleman of Crypto. Make sure you smash that like and share. Again, we got a lot of news that's going to be rolling out the next few weeks. And thanks for all the new subs. It looks like we got about 400 and some new subscribers in the last 30 days. We are definitely trying to pump that up to 10,000 as soon as possible. So make sure you like and share. Every time you see somebody sharing bad information about crypto, every time you see somebody telling somebody to go buy from Coinbase or Robinhood, just put a link to the Gentleman of Crypto in the box. There you go. Thanks again for everything. You all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Cheers.